we good to go? Hi, I am Menace, and this is Gasman.
Hello.
We are here to talk to you today about a new Demoscene site that we've been developing called Demozoo. And if you've heard about it before, it's probably been on one of those threads on Poet about Poet doesn't have this feature, or open source it and all their problems will go away. And then someone chimes in and says, just wait for Demozoo. Usually these are the people that have had beta access and have seen what we've done so far. But today we will we'll share some of what we have today with all of you.
So it's not just, oh yes, we're going to do this. We're going to actually finally show what we actually have done. Well, it's a bit of both as well. But.
Exactly. Should we go to the next slide? Why do we want a new Demoscene site? There are a number of problems with the things we have today. Some are good at some things, some are good at other things. Very few are good at everything. We want to build a platform that has more detail than, like, say, Poet. If we could bring the attention to detail that sites like Bitworld for the Amiga and CSDB for C64 has to the entire scene, we believe there's a lot of value in that. And not least putting things into context. Like when we add credits to the mix for one thing, you get some context that you just can't just search out.
Yeah, I think it's, if you've got, on an existing site like Art City, you can show that, you can look at one picture that, say, was the winner of Assembly 98, but unless you bring in the data that exists on other sites and just in the scene world in general, that can fill in the background to what that's all about, what that production was up against, how it compares to that artist's previous works, what demos their work has been in. So it just brings a lot more context to brings things to life.
Yeah, and the point about bringing people into the picture is larger than just credit. It brings a whole new dimension to discoverability and seeing what people have done, seeing how they've evolved as artists for a graphician, for example.
Yeah. And just generally finding out about the people you meet around the bonfire, find what their Demoscene activity is, and
That is exactly correct. And not least, we hope that we can also, in the process of doing this, build a better platform for promotion of the Demoscene to outsiders. They'll have a friendly place to go, with no trolling, just information, beautiful Demoscene graphics and music, and just fantastic amounts of content to explore and marvel at. And
so I think the promoting to people outside the scene, it's not really our primary focus. There's existing projects like Display Hack that are forging ahead on that. But the way we see it, if we can bring the scene to life for Demosceners, then we should certainly do our best to try and communicate that to people outside the scene as well.
Yeah, and in addition, we'd like to do this with an eye to openness. We're building with an API for other sites to pull in, get information out. We're going to open source down the line.
Yep.
Making everything just, all the information, all the data belongs to the community, should be open to the community.
And it's all about bringing this data that some of it exists on, spread across several existing websites. Some of it is on the internet, but not really indexable in any sense. You've got mountains of information that's on scene.org, just squirreled away in text files.
And really hard to search out information in a structured way with just a bunch of text files on the website.
Yeah. And going beyond that, there's stuff that isn't on the web at all. There's things that are stuck at the back of people's disk boxes or even just in people's heads. So it's kind of important to preserve this sort of history before it gets lost.
Indeed. Should we go on to talking a little bit about ourselves.
Yep. So that's a bit about our motivations, but to really understand where we're coming from here and why this is sort of in our blood that we have to get this project done. So a bit of past history. I discovered the demo scene in the early 90s through the ZX Spectrum. I did the whole disk swapping thing for a few years, and when I got internet access at the end of '98, I was really excited to see, well, let's see what other Spectrum demos are out there. But I discovered that my personal demo collection by that point was actually bigger than the entire sum of all the Spectrum demos on the internet at that point. So I did the obvious thing and put my collection up on the web just with a static HTML page at first. And then as the collection grew and I started covering things like parties and standalone graphics and music, I moved on to using PHP and SQL database backend. And somewhere along the line, I got a job doing web development, largely on the strength of this site. But then, in the end, I kind of hit a brick wall with this site, because I just ended up with sort of an eternal backlog of things that needed to be added, and it was just too much of a drag to keep everything up to date. And the problem was, this site was just it was just built with the intention for me to edit it, and the data entry stuff in the back end was not really all that well designed, and it was just a minimal thing for me to get things working. And it was also designed around me having knowledge of the Spectrum scene just in my head, so if there was a new demo from the group CPU, I'd be able to find them under Cyberpunk's Unity, which isn't the sort of thing that a sort of casual person editing this site might do. So what we really needed was a new site that was usable enough for people without exhaustive knowledge of the Spectrum scene to be able to edit. And if I could crack that problem, then there was really no reason why this shouldn't be sort of expanded to the whole demo scene. So that was in sort of 2006 or something that this site ran aground, and it's been basically ever since then I've been on a mission to create this that improved site in various forms, some of which have not quite got off the ground, but I think this time it really has done, and it's thanks to this guy here, pretty much.
A little bit about my history, how I arrived at this project. I saw my first demo on the C64 in 1987. It just blew my mind that there was like just a bunch of characters together. That was just utterly fantastic. So at that point, I'd just been copying games to see the characters. So I developed a fascination for the scene, for the demo scene. I started following C64 demos, then Amiga demos and PCs as I got more hardware. It was just very fascinating to me, and at that point there wasn't really any good resources on results, competitions, all that stuff. So I started organizing some of it in text files, which I put on the internet in 1996. It was a project called Scenery. That got me a lot of positive feedback, just dozens and dozens of emails, and led to me working on a number of other sites with more very focused things like Exotica and Bitworld on Amiga and the C64 HQ, which has been known then. But my goal was always, I really don't care about the platform. I love the demo scene. If it's a demo on the C64, I love it equally to a Windows demo. So I really just wanted to gather information for all platforms. And this is like the core of the problem, where you have like really good themes, like CSDB was gathered a lot of information about the C64, but no one has done the same for several other platforms. So in a bit of stupid luck, so to speak, I learned that Gasman was rebuilding Demozoo from the ground up. So I sent him an email, and we started talking, and here we are.
3 years later, something like that?
Roughly.
So,
we would like to show you a little bit of the site itself, which I'm guessing you'd be interested in.
Actually,
You can just maximize that.
yeah, that's a crazy Mac version of maximizing. Lo-fi route. Oh, hang on.
Now, if this was an Amiga, Gasman,
Yeah.
it would just work.
Right. Okay, there we are.
Right. This is the landing page. This is the first page you'll see when you're logging into the site.
By the way, if anyone has any sort of photos that are as awesome as this one, but we don't need permission from Heiser Online to use it, then that would be very handy.
Right.
Could you increase the volume a little bit? It's a little bit loud. How low?
Right. This is like the landing page where we plan to build, like, if you click there, you'll go somewhere where we'll explain a bit in general about what the Demoscene is. But if you log in, you'll get more up to date information. This is the logged in site with a number of placeholder pieces of info and news items.
So the idea here is that the sort of information that a casual visitor would be interested in doesn't necessarily match what the hardcore demo scene would be interested in. So that's why we've got separate teasers and banners for logged-in users.
Exactly. And here are like some news items. If you scroll to the top, Gasman,
Yep.
you'll see we have various landing points for the different types of general information. I think we're going to look at one of the party result pages first.
Search for it, but I think the internet's gone. So here's one we
Pre-prepared.
Yes.
Right. This is what a typical party site looks like right now. You'll see we have all the usual information that you can find on demoparty.net today. We have the date, we have the website, we have the location. We also link out to a lot of sites that contains additional information, like you'd expect to find CSDB and demoparty.net, but we also link out things like Facebook, the Facebook event, London events, Twitter. All parties are also organized in series, or not all parties, but parties who have series. So you'll see there are years there that you can click on to go back and forth during the years. Then you have some static text information. I'd like to point out at this point, of course, that what you're looking at now is not necessarily the final design.
We've been mostly concentrating on getting the data in place up to now. But,
right.
We just starting now.
We'll
to think
be
about
polishing down the line, of course, but this is just presenting the data in a way that makes sense for now. And we will be printing it up. If you'll scroll down a small bit, invitations will always be at the top, and then we have all the competitions. Right. The graphics one could be a good showcase.
eye candy.
Right. If we go from the results and actually go into one of the productions, we pre-prepared Epsilon. You'll see a little bit of what that atlas looks like. You can have an infinite amount of screenshots.
Oh, but not there because that's...
But of course,
no
only if you have internet.
Internet. Think positive vibes. Okay.
I really hope you get
Yes.
that back because we want to show
Yes.
off another feature as well.
Yes.
Yes,
No.
sweet. Also, all screenshots can be any resolution. This is captured at 1080p. And when you click it, you get the largest resolution you can show on your screen. So if you have a 1080p screen, you can get the full resolution. And if you have the 640 by 480, that's what you'll get. So it's scaled dynamically. Okay.
Internet on a cable.
Sweet.
Whatever next.
Thank you. As you'll see on the right there with the downloads, we have an intelligent download matching system working.
It's not quite as intelligent here because we've got like the videos and as well as the party version, final version here. But
yeah, we will be
do.
schooling it to making it more intelligent down the line.
Yeah.
Basically, what that means is that if you paste in any scene.org link, for example, we also support other sites like Modland has mirrors, Amigoscene.org has mirrors. Right?
Right.
If you put in the FTP link to the German scene.org, it'll just autofill all the others.
Yeah.
It just automatically knows that this is a scene.org link. We'll just autofill it out. So you'll always have access to all the downloads. Did we plan to do soundtracks or credits first?
Yeah, we've got soundtracks. We've got
We can do
those links,
soundtracks first.
Yes, so yeah, you've got relations between productions, so that if we've got a specific download link for a soundtrack, or if soundtrack has been used in multiple productions, then we've got that detail as well.
Also, if this soundtrack had been competing in a music competition, that would also be on this page.
So yes, graphics and music are really first-class citizens just as much as the actual demos here.
Every release is basically the same thing, just a different kind of release.
And the info file?
I'm sorry?
The info file?
That is on the track bug tracker
Yes.
for stuff to be implemented. Yes, sir.
The very long to-do list.
Yes.
So
Yes, and we also what?
Hello, I came a bit late, but you might have said so, but you won't be hosting anything yourself. You will relate to other hosts.
You're talking about the technical hosting of the site?
Yeah, no, the
downloads.
files, the downloads.
yeah.
Not files, probably. Screenshots and everything we host.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I should answer, well, once we've got the microphone back. As part of sort of collecting these, getting all these screenshots in place, I'll sort of explain the whole process later, but we've indirectly ended up sort of mirroring kind of a fair chunk of scene.org on it's Amazon S3, but yeah, that's so. It's just as a way of sort of accessing those files and extracting the actual screenshot links from them. But yeah, the actual hosting of files isn't really our primary aim. That will remain on third-party sites like scene.org.
How do you handle different versions of the same production, like party versions, final versions, demo versions of the soundtrack, longer extended versions of a soundtrack, etc.?
Well, that's something that we will sort of have to improve here. We've got a very basic ability to add as many downloads as we want. At the moment, you sort of kind of have to identify from the URL that that's the final version. We will. Yeah, that's one thing that's.
I'm pretty sure there's a track ticket for that as well.
Yes. It's being able to describe those because we've also got the downloadable videos there, which we definitely do want to mark out separately. So. Yeah, that's in progress.
We haven't thought about most of these things during the last 3 years, actually.
Okay. I know some of your folks that are working on this, but how many folks are working on the back end? How many folks are working on the front end? Do you need additional help with either hosting, or where are the areas where we can help to move this forward?
We have a separate.
We'll get onto that thing.
Yeah, we have a slide that
Yeah.
addresses that specifically, so we'll get back to it. Right. Scener profiles. If we can scroll to the top, just so we can start at the top. This is what like a normal scener profile looks like. Um, Here we can have, actually we should have chosen one with X memberships, but still, we can have active memberships and previous
Do
memberships.
you have internet? Let's see.
Do we have internet?
No, I'll leave that loading. Okay, if it pops up, then we can start. Okay.
Right. It's basically, the view is basically the same as it would be for a competition. You'll see the dates there, says like October and February. The actual entries actually have the full exact dates, unlike Poet, who sort of limits it to the month. And these are a whole bunch of productions that,
So.
and graphics such as, you're back on the internet, sir?
Yeah, I think we have internet for the moment. Just trying to show the live search. If that's no, the internet's gone. Okay. Right.
Would like to state for the record that our site works perfectly. It's
Extreme
the
presenting.
Russian network.
Try different wireless. I opened up a personal hotspot for you on my mobile.
Yeah.
We can go
let's carry
into
on with-
detail
yes.
on things and demonstrate the site and basically give you logins for anyone who wants to play with it later.
Did it say manual IP address on your wire connection?
I'm sorry?
Did it say manual IP address on your wire connection? Or it's actually set to DHCP?
Well, let's carry on. I think we can.
Right.
Yes. We'll fly internetless. Right.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the senior profiles and some of the challenges and the way we solve them technically.
Yeah. So as well as having individual. This is sort of my profile, and sort of got my ill-advised alternative nicknames through time that I've sort of used once, and I used to be the Gasman rather than Gasman. So the whole issue of having sort of multiple nicknames, that's quite a big one, because if you've probably seen on Puet where sometimes there are groups that using the same name, like Equinox, so they have to sort of annotate them with the platform or the country to actually distinguish them. And if you apply that same problem to individual sceners, then the whole thing blows up 100 times over, because a few of the stats in. There we go, in our database. So right now we've got 21 sceners who call themselves Shadow, got 17 aliens, and so it goes on. So if you had to sort of enter these productions by just going through a massive list, that just wouldn't work out. So I've got internet back for a second, because it's really worth showing this. If I can, let's see, got the edit mode. So what we've got instead is kind of intelligent nickname matching thing, and I think the internet is about to go again, but right, there we go. Yeah, so there's the idea. It's already got a name pre-filled, but so the idea is, as you type, my favourite example for this is Ra of XS, who happens to be Spectrum Scener, and the internet has gone again. There's loads of sceners and groups called RA, or with the initials RA, and likewise there are several groups called XS. So if you were just entering that on its own, then you'd get it would fail to match. But I think I'm going to try their wide network. If you actually have them in their entirety, then you're able to uniquely identify that one user. Just hey, right. So you can it'll start auto completing, hopefully, if
Probably need to reconnect.
yes. Yeah.
JavaScript
Yeah.
session is going to be on the wrong one.
Right. Right, so there, you can just start typing and then it will sort of immediately find the right one. Now, it might seem like I'm making a big deal of this one little UI feature, especially as it's taken like 5 minutes to actually demonstrate it, but the reason I am making a big deal of this is that this sort of the rich UI is just what we need to, this is the sort of thing that makes it possible to, for example, enter entire sort of sets of compo results in one sitting without wanting to claw your face off. The goal I've set several goals into the usability here, but one in particular, as I'm aiming to do, is to be able to enter the full set of graphics compo entries while the competition is going on. If you just imagine doing that with Puet having to select everything from lists, then it would just be totally hellish.
We have a question.
Have you built your own search engine, or do you rely on third party?
The search engine we're using, it's Zapier, so we've populated our own indexes, and now we've actually got internet access. I'll show you it's a fairly nifty live search, so that's doing some prefix searching, and then you've got the previews there. So yeah, we're using Zapier as the search engine backend, and that seems to be doing the job for us so far. The site, by the way, the technology we're using is Django and PostgreSQL. Django fan there. Right. Okay, so where are we now?
We are on the Where Are We Now slide, I believe.
Yes. I knew that, really. That's why I said, where are we now? Yes. Right. Where are we now?
Right. We mentioned that we are very interested in getting all the disconnected information gathered in one place. But we are also very concerned that we want to do this not by just freeloading on all the other sites. Copy-pasting information serves no purpose, especially when there are like lots of information we know to be wrong. There are so many things on a certain site that are wrong. So we have decided to make our where we pull all our results from are the information that is on the Sino.org file servers. That's where we're starting off. By getting all that information into the database first,
Yep.
we have a very good foundation for building up. Of course, that is also incomplete, especially like before 2000. But from there on up, it's a pretty good and quite complete source of information.
So that's
Can you pull up one of the sites which has the numbers we were going to talk
yeah.
about?
But yeah, so that's our pledge to the scene, is we're providing all of the party results from every party ever that Scene.org knows about. That's
a question?
Yep. Question? Yep.
I'm getting annoying now, but this guy is getting in good shape. You fetched all the information from Scene.org. Will you continue to do that after you have launched the website?
Yes.
When? How often?
We don't necessarily do it automatically.
Okay.
Because like parsing random text files, it's not practical. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. Do we have like a bullet point for that?
Possibly, but yeah,
can talk generally about it.
As I said, we're sort of making it really streamlined to enter party results, so one goal is to be able to enter the entries as they're shown in real time, and then it's a much quicker job to enter them afterwards. So as well as being able to try and import them in a semi-automatic way. We're also streamlining the process for...
We also have, we have some back-end tools for certain results files generated by party systems. But like everything pre-2002, there was no single party system that everyone used. Since then, we've had PartyMeister and several incarnations of that, and Woohoo, which is used in a number of places. And we have tools to automatically import from text files generated by those with that particular formatting, unless some ASCII artist has gotten in and ruined everything. Yeah. It has happened, yeah. Would like to know the numbers. Oh, there they are. Okay. So where we currently are, we have 21,000 unique productions, 15,000 graphics pieces, 22,000 music tracks, 8,000 groups, 24,000 sceners in the database.
And this is so that's kind of, when you add productions, graphics, and music together, that's kind of the same sort of size as Puets. Not that we're comparing or anything, but it's we must say that pretty much all of that has been done by manual entering by just this small group of us. The one automated data import so far has been from the original version of Demozoo, which was the fairly short-lived one that appeared in 2008. So that one did start from the Puet data. So what we've imported is the entries that were actually contributed to by the users of the original version of Demozoo. And
so all that information is preserved. Everything that users changed while the first edition of Demozoo was up is preserved.
And plus my
Spectrum sites, yeah.
But then everything else, so all these 20,000 odd, has been done by a small handful of people, which either indicates how insane everyone is or how awesome the data entry stuff is. Awesome combination of the two.
Right. We have a new slide then, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
The difficult one?
Yes.
So,
the elephant in the room.
We love Gargai, seriously. We've mentioned Poet a lot here. And so we're just going to answer the obvious questions that people are going to ask and have been asking ever since we initiated it.
Can we burn it?
I'm not going to answer that.
So yeah, the main questions then are...
No, but seriously.
Yeah, it's... Okay, so it's... The big question is how does this project fit alongside Puets? And there's also, are we trying to be the new Puets? And maybe there's some feeling that we should be working on trying to improve Puet rather than working on a whole new site. And maybe I should answer that with that one first, because I think it has to be said that considering that Puet started 99, 2000, it was to serve a purpose then, and it's just grown organically with no central direction by people who'd probably kind of rather be doing something else like writing demos instead. And despite all that, it has performed amazing service for the demo scene. And but I think the fact does remain that it is written using the approaches that were current back in 99, 2000, which are not necessarily the sorts of approaches that would be chosen by someone developing today. So, and that means that you're able to develop stuff that's just enhance bits around the edges, but the sort of fundamental changes that we really want to do, it's not really in a good position to do that. And,
I'd just like to point out so that there's no misunderstanding. We have no intention of replacing Poets or threatening their position in any way. We're good friends with the developers. We've had very creative talks with them about how to solve some of these things. And we're something else. We're something on the side.
Yeah, I think the idea is we're just focused on trying to do the best site that we can build independently of any progress that's happening on Demozoo, on Poet.
There's definitely
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
There's definitely room for 2 Demoscene databases out there that
And I
cater
think,
to different needs.
Yeah. And I think working from a new code base means that we're in a better position to adapt to any changes, any demands from the scene for new functionality. And I think that the whole idea of whether we're the new Poet or not, it's not really about which code base we're using or what logo is on the top of the site. It's really about how the community responds to that. And okay.
I think also the point is that Demozoo is not trying to be Poet because Poet only categorizes demos and wild productions. It doesn't categorize graphics or musics. And maybe Poet Demozoo should be viewed as kind of a Wikipedia of the demo scene, where everyone can enter data and it will be rectified in time, maybe, perhaps.
Yes, we're going to touch on that in just a little bit as well. About
I think, it's not really our place to guess whether we'll be sort of the Wikipedia of the demo scene or the MySpace or the Facebook of the demo scene or anything. It's all about how the scene responds to us, really.
Let's not shoot for MySpace though.
Somewhat related with the previous question. Can we edit our own pages as demo sceners? Like add our own productions and links, etc.
Yes.
Bios.
Yes, the idea is it's all going to be fully editable. Yeah, I think that.
Should we
Yes.
possibly? Is there
Yes.
like a good place to talk about the scene
that's on the
ID
list.
thing?
Yes.
That is actually down there. but
I think
that sort of ties
I think
into
the
what he
general
asked
point about
about.
whether people will be able to just log in and edit it, that is very much our plan. If you can, anyone can sign up for a profile.
Anyone can sign up
Yep.
for a profile and start editing away.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're a troll, just editing crap and putting in things that we don't like, we're logging every edit made to the database, and we can easily just revert it.
So
It's like 2 clicks.
So,
How do you check that people create profiles that match, people actually giving credit in productions?
yes, that's all my tests of that.
I'm so-
Okay, so that's kind of a future development. At the moment, there is no direct link between the sceners on the database and the users editing them, but that's certainly something that we can potentially add in future using Scene ID. That's kind of a common issue with sites in general, is that there is really no connection there between the creators of the demos and the people commenting on them or submitting information. I should mention at this point we will be adding commenting on these. It's kind of a necessity. So that's one thing that we're hoping to add, is creating that link between the creators and the users, the community on this site.
Indeed.
So you have no direct connection between a logged-in user and the artist?
Not
If it's the same person?
Not yet. That is that's on the to-do list, like everything else in the world.
So are we?
So,
More questions?
okay. Hang on. Yeah.
I have actually 2 questions. The first one is, you stated on the website that you like to build something like IMDb for the demo scene. But if I look at your profile, what I'm missing is a list code on these productions, music on this, and for the sceners that changed their names, did code as on that.
Yeah, that's.
You have that?
Yes,
So
I'm trying to think about
the name, like in the credits, but I know it's that Cena.
Trying to think where I've got an example of that, but
If you have that,
in italics.
it's okay.
Yeah.
The second question is, you showed us that you have 24,000 scenas already in it. Are you sure there are no doubles?
There are certainly dupes.
Yeah.
We weed out dupes every day.
Okay.
It's inevitable. We sort of work from these text files, and sometimes you can't be certain if this is that person or that person if it doesn't have like a group affiliation or something. So we you need to do a best guess and then investigate.
Okay. You can merge two individuals then later?
Not automatically right now, but I merge plenty manually.
Okay. Okay.
And we also have back-end tools to try to weed out a lot of the dupes and such.
I think some of the more complex operations like merging, they may end up being admin-only features since it is fairly easy to trash things in a not very easy to repair way. So I think as well as having commenting on here, there will be to forums which, if nothing else, will have the equivalent of the Fix Me Beautiful thread, where you can get admins in to clean up any sorts of data issues like that.
Should we go to that slide?
Yep. Should probably abandon the slides really. That one. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, spoilers.
This touches on some of the things you brought up in your questions, but these are like our visions or our mission statements. One thing that has been fundamental while we've been building the site is that we want almost everything to be fully editable by anyone. And as I mentioned, we log every edit, so we can revert it if it's destructive or. I know for a fact that other sites have had that problem. CSDB has had users mass deleting stuff. So, but we can be pretty sure that we're proof against that.
Yep.
Then to come back to the question that was posed about IMDb, like the IMDb of the Demoscene. We want to add a dimension of discoverability to browsing a Demoscene site. Something that I get generally while I'm watching a movie. I'll pull up IMDb on my phone and I say I really like this actor. I want to see what else he has done, and we want to add some of the same. We want to be able to just go into a scener's profile and see his progress over time. This becomes easier with more embedding down the line, of course. And how many bullet points do I have? Okay. There's a question?
Cheers. As an add-on question, sort of, in terms of IMDb, I'd be more interested in something like, say, not necessarily IMDb of Demoscene, but maybe like Last.fm of Demoscene, meaning I'd like to see that I, as a user, can say, oh, I like this demo, I like that demo, and then I can later on see, okay, let's match all the likes, and then you could say, as someone who likes this and that and that, you might also like this demo or that demo, which would of course also mean that you can add tags to single productions and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then we get into a domain where it's actually interesting that we can really use meta information.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something I would like to see.
We've definitely talked about that and have some of that functionality in place.
Yeah. Yeah, I think might as well sort of talk about sort of the future extensions in that direction, because like we've said, up to now, most of our focus has been around getting the data in there, and that is going to continue. But we're starting to reach the point where we can start doing exciting things with that data, and that's one thing we sort of did think about was being able to have like user playlists. So once we start, I think one of the first features we're hoping to have in post-launch is being able to play music directly from the site, stream anything, not just MP3s, but I think browser technology is now at the point where we can play mods and sort of more esoteric formats like SID. And once we've got that, and maybe even having emulators in the browser, then it's all sorts of exciting things that we can do once we've coupled that with the data, we can then get people to create their own playlists, share their sort of, ideas of their choices, and do all sorts of...
And we already have tagging support. So that is in for productions.
Yes, will you have a forum at the site, like at the Poet? So, yeah, and also comments at each production.
Comments, definitely. Forum, we've been talking about that as recently as today.
I think that's one place where it's really important to try and kind of respond to how the Demoscene receives us. If we are going to become like the community hub, then obviously that's great, and we'll respond to that with the sort of the forums that to serve that. I think, as I say, at the very minimum, we'll have forums to discuss the site itself and any sort of data fixes and future plans.
But the things we've been discussing today, just to give a teaser for the future, would be whether we just put in a random ready-made forum code, or if we just roll our own and make something that could be deeply integrated into the site. Which means that you could, in theory, PM the producer of the music on this demo that you really liked and tell him you liked it. Yes?
We're getting on to the sort of question that everyone is going to be asking then.
When it's done.
Not today, unfortunately.
No. We do really want to deliver something solid. When we... Gus was shaking his head.
Deliver something!
We have some outstanding issues, some things that aren't working perfectly yet. We have, of course, a bug tracker where we have like a number of tickets for initial launch, and then hundreds and hundreds for the rest. So we really want to get those off the list before we do like a public release, and you can just go to the site and sign up.
I think this is one issue that one lesson I learned from the original Demozoo was they say release early, release often, but I think you really do need to make a good first impression. So I think we need to make sure that we've got a homepage that we can be proud of, and obviously get all of the data that we've promised. So making sure we actually get that right and get everything usable. I think that's really the key to this.
The reason we're talking about this today is that date is not far off. We're so close to release that we can comfortably talk about this now and hope to get some enthusiasm going. And the other thing, it's not as if you can't come in and browse the site and start doing stuff today. We have yet to turn anyone away who's asked us for login. So just come up, talk to us, or join the IRC channel.
Yeah, so just to be clear, we are in beta, and this beta is basically as open as it can be without being one of these fake Google betas where it's actually just releasing on unfinished products. Because obviously we want to sort of keep some of the fanfare to once, like I say, it is ready to the actual release, but it is in a perfectly usable state. We've got loads of people doing awesome work on it.
Correct. Anyone who wants to play with Demozoo, come talk to us and we'll hook you up with a login.
And likewise, if anyone can help out with sort of any of the grunt work of not just the data entry but the coding design, we'd love to hear from you.
The more people, the better. Truck asked a question earlier about how many people are working on it. Actively, we have a small selection of people who are staff, who have super user access, and who actually are active developers, or of more or less data.
Yeah.
If you'd like to bring up the slide. I'd like to say thanks to these people. In addition to the two of us, these are the people who have been helping us so far, exceptionally much. There's lots of others. But this is the crew today.
Thanks to you.
Thank you. That's about it, I think.
Yep.
More questions, anyone?
Yes, but no.
Go on.
No,
Short questions are the best
By the
questions.
time that I get finished with my questions, it'll be Thursday.
Can you guys say that this will be launched this year? For real?
You did say so earlier today, but
Okay, yes, it will be released this year.
the thing is, you can help. If you want this product out the door, there's lots of things that can be done. Just come talk to us and we'll assign you a task.
So I was, right until now we've been saying, right, no deadlines, absolutely not. But yeah, I think yes. No, I need the pressure now, so yes.
No pressure, but we've got you on video now.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Guess I better cancel all my holidays for the next year then. No, it's not that bad. We are on target. Definitely. Before I committed to release this year, and I was going to say I'd be very disappointed if it wasn't this year. It will be this year.
And to be clear, these are the data warriors. We could do with a developer or two.
Then I might be able to take a holiday.
Thank you.
Oh yes. Open. It will. Yes.
That.
Yes. Open source.